Hello and welcome back to another episode of Absolute BSS, the Casualpetitive podcast about Bandai Namco's Battle Spirits Saga card game. I am one of your hosts, Cameron, joined as always by Eric.
Hello, everyone.
And Angel.
What's going on, everybody?
And, I want to take a quick second. We just wanted to officially welcome Angel into the podcast space. It makes sense. You've been on most of the episodes now, more than me, actually.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I kind of, when it's funny, started as the invite, and then Cam, we just had bad luck. Anytime Angel was going to be on, he never showed up for it. So, but now we've been training, so I'm excited to be part of the team and, talk about Battle Spirits and everything else we talk about here. So,
no bad luck this time.
No bad luck this time. Hashtag.
So it's been a minute since our last episode. We had some technical difficulties just adding some of the extra little fun bits. In the meantime, it's been a little quiet as far as BSS is concerned. We've seen a slow drip of some of the lore set cards. And if you notice from the title or from the show notes, that's what we're going to be diving into mostly today. But first, just doing some housekeeping. How you guys been? What have you been up to? I feel like we've been pretty busy, the three of us separately. But how's life? What are you playing? How's it going?
Things are going well. Definitely just been really busy out of nowhere, and I think that's the same for all three of us. Unfortunately, we got back from the grand open, and then it just felt like work and other random stuff just has been coming up for all three of us. So, but I've been really getting into some other stuff. Like the One Piece card game, I've been purchasing some One Piece cards. Have not really played it much since, but I do have I think I have most of the starter decks now. And the reason I ended up with all of those starter decks is because I went around to so many different Targets and Walmarts trying to find Disney Lorcana cards. I didn't find any. I found absolutely zero Disney Lorcana cards on any of my adventures. But I did find lots of One Piece stuff. However, my dad, he lives out in the middle of nowhere, in the country. And I just kind of texted him on a whim. I was like, hey, if you're at Walmart, can you just look to see if they have any of this Disney card game? And then he sent me, actually, the way I roped him into it is I just sent him a screenshot of the Enchanted Rare Elsa and how expensive it was. And he was just like that. He was on his way to Walmart. He was like, all right, I'm hunting.
Yeah. I really ought to do the same thing with my brother, because he bought and sold Pokemon cards a lot there for a little while. Disposable income and all that. But I should tell him to be looking around Indiana for Lorcana.
My thing with it is I'm not trying to scalp stuff. I'm only just buying what we had when he went and bought stuff. I told him to just pick up one of each starter deck because I wanted to leave some for other people. But also what I have been doing is, as I open packs and stuff, if I get anything that's been selling for over $30, I go ahead and sell it just to kind of fuel. So I have a little bit of fuel to the fire to buy more Lorcana stuff if I come across it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to build a collection by selling the most valuable pieces and just going for quantity of cards, mainly just because it's so hard to find any.
Yeah.
That's kind of been my approach. But my dad held some starter decks back for Angel as well, so Angel was able to get one of each. So
yes, he did.
So your BSS boys, at the very least, have some product between the three of us. Which is great. Because set 2 is already being spoiled. There's 9 set 2 cards up on Twitter today, and no one's even playing set 1 unless you're
nobody's even seen set 1.
I know. Yeah. We'll get to it here in a minute, but Eric and I played in our first Lorcana event, and it was kind of a launch for our store. But other than that, everyone there was I went to Gen Con, couldn't get anything, just like us. Couldn't find it anywhere. Went to box stores, nothing. And then it's just so few and far between. It's really, really weird. I'm hoping that I hope that they do another soft relaunch with set 2 and print some set 1 so that you can just get a whole bunch of product up front at once and start playing the game.
Yeah, it's weird to me, like, I mean, because even Best Buy, like, these places that you wouldn't think would sell, like, TCG, like, Best Buy, I was like, what? Best Buy sells them? But it's just, like, I don't understand where, like, the logistics behind it was, where you know this is going to be a huge game. You've been hyping it up for months. It's
Yeah.
Disney to begin with, and you can sell it to big box retail stores as well. Like, how do you not have enough inventory? I just don't get where the ball was dropped somewhere, or maybe they didn't think it was going to be that big. I don't know. Somewhere down the line, somebody messed up something. Like,
I
it
think
blows my mind.
I've been thinking about that a lot, and like obviously I don't know the answers, but it just has to be because it's Ravensburger. It's a smaller development or developer and publisher. Like they make puzzle games, but they do like a lot of the other Disney stuff, right? Like the Villainous and stuff like that.
Villainous,
so
yeah.
that is what kind of pokes a hole in that theory for me. But I'm just thinking they're probably just being safe. Maybe it was intentional to just build an insane demand, and then they'll be like, yeah, we learned our lesson. We're going to hit print on Chapter 1, 2nd edition, and Chapter 2, and just flood the market with it because people will buy it. And that way it will be a healthy game at the release of Set 2 if they do it that way. If it's this for Set 2 and people are then not even seeing either set, and these like singles are selling for $80 for a foil, like then the game will die. The game will die.
I think the game's dead in the water at that point. It's like,
you're only gonna have the true hardcore fans, collectors are gonna be paying those kind of prices.
Yeah, you've got whales.
Events, exactly, and the events are not gonna go off because you got the same people that can somehow. I forgot. I think it was one of you guys was telling me. Maybe it was a friend of mine that they had went to play Lorcana. And like they had a couple was playing like $800 decks or $500 decks already. I'm like, what in the world? Like, it's like, geez, and it's like Lorcana. Like it's like, it just came out. Like I don't know, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But, hey, more power to them. So for now, for people that are selling it, take advantage of it. I guess. Unfortunately, I mean it sucks because I mean I've seen scalpers like sell. Like they have like 15 to 20 booster cases and like selling for like $390 a pop. I'm like, that's insane, man. That's insane.
It's brutal. It just feels like a bunch of whales selling the same stuff over and over to each other too. It's kind of like it feels like Ticketmaster, man. Like it's just the scalpers buying up the market and getting crazy tickets when you just want to see Taylor Swift for once in your life. Come on, man.
So Lorcana is the Taylor Swift of TCGs.
Boom. Put it on a pillow, baby.
Yeah, that's why I've been selling like some of my more expensive singles I pulled out of packs though, is I just have hope that I'll be able to buy them back later for cheaper. Because like as much as I would love to include like the giant Tinkerbell or whatever that card was called in my deck, like I just couldn't pass up like $35 and now I can buy more Lorcana product if I come across it and just have more cards to play with. So but it definitely, like the people buying like sealed product and then just reselling it for like 4 or 5 times the price is just insane to me. That's nuts.
Yeah. It's a bummer. But
the game's fun though.
It is fun.
If you can play it.
Yeah, which again, we were very lucky to play in a draft last night in East Nashville at Game Point Cafe. Shout out to Game Point Cafe.
Huge shout out to Rick for like just hanging on to product and not selling it. Like he could have just easily have sold all of that stuff for a bunch of money and just like walked away from it. But instead he was like, immediately, it would have all sold immediately. But instead he's like, no, I'm going to keep it. And we're going to kind of like build a community at the store with it. And I think that's really awesome.
He really cares about creating environments in that store and doing events for all types of games. It is such a cozy place. If y'all are ever through Nashville, seriously, like look up their website, see what events they're running, and I guarantee it's something that you'll play. Stop by, get a coffee, play some games at Game Point. I can't recommend it enough. But yeah, they had 28 of us for a booster draft. So the way that worked is they put us into like 3 pods of like up to 8 people. I think one pod had like 10 for how that math works out or something. But we were all given 4 booster packs. We would open one pack, take one card, pass it, and until we got up through all the cards. So we ended up with 48 cards, and we would build a deck that had to be at least 40 cards, rainbow, and then we played 3 rounds. And this was like my first real time playing the game, other than like just playing the starter decks and teaching people. And it's a little different because it was rainbow, but it was very, very fun. There's a lot of depth to that game. Tempo is a really big deal. More than I thought that they did nail it down. The starter decks are actually a really bad representation of the game, or at least build bad habits. Like there's a lot of top decking in the starter decks. Eric and I were talking about that. But with even just a couple of packs, I feel like the starter decks are a really good starting point, which is what they should be. You can swap out some of those cards and like the archetypes are there, but really like the color matchup outside of just the starter decks, there's a lot of room there. And after we were done, I came home and I like put together 7 decks and downloaded Pixelborn and just started playing them. And it's a blast. I really enjoyed it. I think it feels a lot like Keyforge with a mana system that is akin to like Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. What did you think about it, Eric, after playing it 3 times?
I played the like launch event, like starter deck event. And then I agree. Like I didn't really like the way the game played with the starter decks. I was kind of like, I don't know. Like I'm not too disappointed if I don't get any more products, because I was like, I don't know if this game's really for me. But after we played where we drafted and I got to like actually construct my deck and think through the strategy I wanted to go for, like that's when it really started like clicking for me, because I was heavily focused on controlling my opponent's hand, so I had lots of discard cards, and I also was trying to do as much lore control as I could. So like turning your Cheshire Cat into like reckless so it couldn't quest, and then also like using Aladdin to make you lose lore and stuff like that.
Yeah. Good old Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah, I used them against my wife, and she used it against me. I hate Aladdin, but I love Aladdin.
Yeah, especially Aladdin that 7 cost one. That thing's nuts.
Yeah, that thing, man, especially with a shift cost, that's crazy.
Yep, and if you pair that with Amethyst, and you got like Elsa exerting people, and then Aladdin just picks off chumps, it's insane.
Yep.
There's some, that's the thing, is there's some cool like combos and strategies and synergies that you don't really get to see in the starter decks. And to be honest, I think the starter decks try to like tease some of that stuff, but they don't really do it well.
Right.
Like the Amber and Amethyst starter deck has like this like little like broom synergy thing, but also like a princess thing going on. But like it doesn't really follow either of those paths all the way to completion. It's just kind of like, there's some cards in here that do stuff if you have princesses. Too bad the deck only has like a couple princesses.
Right.
So
like there's some Rapunzels from the starter deck, or from the boosters, and like Lilo, the booster pack Lilo is really, really good in these princess ramp decks. And I was lucky actually to pull 2 Moanas out of packs. So I have a full play set of those Moanas. And so that princess archetype is very, very good. And that's another one that can work with different colors. You don't have to do orange and purple. You can do orange and blue, because there's a lot of good princess support in blue. And that's what I mean about like, this is a good game they have on their hands. It really, really is.
And it's fun. It's fast. It feels a little unbalanced at times,
fast.
but
but like that's kind of, I think that's cool. I think it works because the game is so fun and it feels so low stakes because it's Disney. And like our rounds were best 2 out of 3 45-minute rounds, and I felt like that was plenty of time.
Oh yeah,
the game does move at a pretty decent pace.
Yeah, the only time it takes a little bit longer is, once you have no more hand.
Yeah.
Because then you're just top decking everything. I know when I was playing with my wife on the starter decks, there was certain games where we're like, have all this ink, but no cards. So I feel like some of the starter decks at least struggle with some of that draw power.
Yeah.
There are some cards out there. I think there's one where you can recycle a magic card from your graveyard, put it back in your deck, and you can kind of search them out again. But it definitely, it is fun. Ideally, for the most part, though, it's pretty quick and pretty fun. game. I mean, my wife loved it, and she played it quite a few times. I want to say we tried all three starter decks and we just rotated it out. And then I think at some point we ended up just mixing the decks by two different colors across from each other.
Nice.
And it did pretty well. But I would say Aladdin and
That's
the
a
Mickey
cool
Mouse
idea.
and the broom. Yeah, it was fun though. I mean, I like the game for what it is. At first I was like, man, this ain't gonna be that complex. I'm like playing it like this is so simple, like basic. But there is some level of like once you get some of those combos going, you kind of see, oh wait, this is what the deck is trying to do. There is a little bit of like, I like how you decided like what you decide to ink is very important, and you can pay for it if you ink the wrong card, because then later on I'm like, man, I wish I would have not inked that card.
Yeah.
So I think I like that complexity there because you're in a way managing your resources as well.
It's a great resource system, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of games are starting to do that, where like most cards are your resources also. Alpha Clash has done that if anyone's into that. But and I forget now what the other one, or well, Dragon Ball Z does it.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, so that's cool. I like that. And yeah, it was just really cool to see so many different people playing the game too. Like there were kids, there were adults, there were men, there were women. Like it was really neat. It was a much more varied crowd than most card games that I've ever played.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important. And I think that if any game is going to do that and break more people into the trading card game space that don't normally play, it's going to be this game. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I think case in point is our new friend Kelly that showed up. So she was at the starter deck event and I was there. And this is the first time she's ever played a game. Like a trading card game. Like I think her only other experience was like playing like very basic like board games like Monopoly and stuff. So this was like the Disney IP, because she loves that, brought her out to check it out. And when we were all like showing her like because we all showed up, like a lot of our the like seasoned TCG players, we showed up with like our mats and our sleeves and our deck boxes and dice and counters and like all this stuff. She showed up and she was just playing like kitchen table Lorcana, just like no sleeves, just right on the table. Yep. There's like water getting on the cards and stuff. But
coffee stains it was on cool. Enchanted Elsa. No, I'm just
kidding. We definitely made sure that didn't happen, because we were like but it was so cool though, because then she came back this time and she bought like a deck box and sleeves, and she was like shopping around for play mats and stuff, and I was like, oh, she's gonna be into TCGs now. So like Lorcana is gonna be a great gateway game for her to discover other TCGs that she might like too. And she has like the deck box and the sleeves and the mat and all that now. So it's like,
and the knowledge of like what events should be like and should feel like. And I feel like everyone did a really good job of welcoming her in. And I got to play against her round 3, which was really, really cool, because I wasn't at the structure deck event or the starter deck event, but I got to meet her last night, and we actually got paired up in round 3, so it was really cool. We just got to like chat, and like we just were very like, because it was super casual, we were just very open about what each of us were doing. She was like, what do you look for in a mulligan? And she's like, or maybe I shouldn't ask you that because we're playing. And I was like, no, this is awesome. Like let's absolutely use this as like, let's just talk it out, because I'm learning the game too. Like we're on equal footing, honestly. But yeah, that was really, really cool. And I from what I could hear from the other tables, like that's just what was going on around the whole room with those 28 people. And it was really, really special.
Absolutely. Before we get too far away, Angel, what have you been up to?
Sorry.
We went on this like Lorcana tangent.
No, it's like, I mean, honestly, not too different, No, it's all good. I mean, I've been playing Lorcana as well. Like I said, thanks to Eric's dad, he was able to get some decks and pick those bad boys up, and I was excited to show my wife because I failed at Gen Con. So that was the biggest thing. I didn't really care too much about the game. I just knew that'd be something that she would get into.
Is she a big Disney fan? Is she like super into Disney?
She likes Disney. I want to say she's like a huge Disney fan. There's a couple characters, obviously, just nostalgia, like most of us, I think. I just think the idea of playing with Disney characters in a card game like that, I think entice her, and it wasn't as hard as the other card games I try to teach her. She's like, this is one of your stupid strategy games. I just can't get it. So it's like, but she actually enjoyed it. Like we played like I want to say after game 1, game 2, I can tell she was like, oh yeah, it's not as bad. So she liked it. I mean, that's the end goal of that game, right? For me, that game is just something to play for fun, casually. If I get some cards or packs here and there, cool. I ended up pulling an Enchanted Simba actually on my first pack off one of the decks, so I'm probably gonna end up selling that, and that money just gonna fuel my Battle Spirits. That's my main game.
That's
so
right.
I use that for my SPRs that I want or build up my decks. But it's definitely a fun game. But apart from that, like Eric was saying, I think all of us have been extremely busy. I mean, between work, trying to get life organized, trying to prep for this Pro Tour trip, trying to get all the ducks in a row, what I need to do with the banks, cell phone carriers, money, everything that you need. There's a lot of stuff that we're learning about. Like we're even buying this like travel charging station because they have different outlets out there. It's a bunch of different stuff. So it's a lot of stuff that between my wife and I are researching. So I've been focused on that. And then in my very spare time, which is about 20 minutes before I pass out, I've been playing Marvel Snap, the new season stuff for Marvel Snap, so Loki and all that. So I've been trying to play that.
I hit Infinite already.
They do. I'm close. I got I think I need 2 more, and I'll be up there. I've been focusing on Conquest.
Nice.
But been doing that. I downloaded Arena again after talking to Eric at Tulsa. So I downloaded Arena.
I just downloaded that too, man.
We need to play because I have been playing. That's what I forgot to mention. I've been playing Magic Arena so much. I've been playing it. Yeah, we need to play. The new set is really cool.
Yeah, I've been playing some of that, and then I'm actually playing this game called DC Dual Force, which is
that's good too.
Sort of similar to Marvel Snap. I mean, it's a little bit more in depth. I think a little bit harder than Marvel Snap is. It's not just quick and you're done. It's more you have to put strategy in it. But it's very fun. I mean, I think it's still in the beta phase. Been playing with a Green Lantern and Harley Quinn deck. It's pretty fun. It's a fun game. So, but I've just been trying to take time off, from Battle Spirits because I know these next couple of weeks it's gonna be like focus, grinding, play testing. What do I need? What do I need to do? So other than that, that's it. So
great. I love it.
So
want to move into? Go for it.
Well, we're talking about Lorcana.
Yes.
And now we're going to talk about the lore set.
That's right.
For Battle Spirits Saga.
Very excited to dive in for a much more like detailed look. We've been talking about it a little bit in the Discord here and there, like as they came out on Twitter, we would throw them up and throw around some ideas. But this is the part of the show where we're gonna get absolutely into BSS and go over the 10 lore set cards that are spoiled so far, and there's some spice in here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this shakes things up, which, by the way, I totally forgot we wanted to talk about this just super quick before we got into this, but the Grand Open, the most recent Grand Open in Monroeville just finished as well.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody go check out Cosmic's newest video because he has like a top 16 recap, and I'm not going to go into as much detail because all of his information is there and you can just go watch his video. Mm-hmm. Finish our podcast first and then go watch his video.
Mm-hmm. Play next.
Or pause and come back. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Pause and come back. That's fine too.
All I'll say about the Grand Open is I'm not surprised. It is what it is at this point. I was kind of hoping that the second one would switch it up a little bit more, but there was a couple good attempts on some of the deck lists that I saw. But we all know who the king is so far, so I'm hoping for this lore set to definitely change up some stuff. So I'm excited. But
I think it will.
Yeah.
There's a lot of current meta punishment in mm-hmm. some of these cards, and if that is an indication for what else we'll be seeing from set 3 in just a little bit, then I think the game is fine where it's at, which we've been saying for a couple of weeks.
I will say though, go look at the top 16 lists because there is some spicy tech in some of those decks. The first place deck was main decking King Vulture,
mm-hmm.
which I thought was super cool.
Which I called out how long ago before Gen Con.
Yeah, BSS tech, baby.
Yeah,
I was like, King Vulture is going to be it.
Here's the other spicy tech that I was running at the last Grand Open, and people are doing it now. Second place was running 4 copies of Arcana Joker out of Pterosaurs. which I thought was, makes sense because I feel like that card is extremely good.
That's a game ender, man.
It was cool to see pterosaurs make a bit of an appearance. I know that we got really tired of pterosaurs towards the beginning of the game because they were just dominating, but they did go away. They did go away for a minute, so I'm kind of glad to see them back in.
For sure.
I think it's healthy to have a good mix, even though Axe Biter was like half of the decks. But you know,
I still don't have any copies of Axe Biter, man.
You don't?
I'm not gonna. I refuse.
I'm excited for the there was a Nova, actually a Nova deck that ended up topping 11. So I'm excited to see that. So Nova, almost like every time it's creeping up more and more and more. So I'm waiting to see if it ends up at all in this meta dominating at any point. But it's nice to see though, because I mean that's the child, I guess you could say, of Battle Spirits with set 1, and it's like you just got brushed underneath the rug. Like, who's Nova? Like, what is Nova? And like he was on everything that you see. So I'm glad to see that. So
I got my first Nova. I only have one copy, but we haven't played in a minute. But I do have a Star Dragons deck put together that I want to try and see if I like the playstyle, and then I might commit to buying more copies of Nova and some of the other key pieces. But yeah, it is cool to see. Like Eric said, you know, pterosaurs rotating back in, Nova getting a shot, and I think it's a hint at what we might see in set 3 as far as support. I think that deck is really going to round out and be a contender. Nova, for sure.
Yeah.
In set 3.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. That'll be cool.
Me too.
All right. Should we dive into the lore set cards?
Let's do it. Angel, you want to take the first one?
Sure. So the first one is, and I'm gonna butcher this name, but I'm gonna try it. So
that's why I gave it to you.
That's why. That's why you stuck you with it. Yeah.
Give it to the Latin guy. The English is a second language, right? So why not? But 6 Aegis. Aegis. Aegis Emperor Kai.
I've been referring to her as Rainbow Mommy.
Yeah, I was about to say definite mommy vibes.
Well, let's go with Rainbow Mommy. But 6 Aegis, so Aegis Emperor Kai. So she's a 7 cost. With 3 red cost reduction. You know, she has the when summon from your trash at level 1, 2, or 3. Select 1 spirit card of each of the following colors: purple, yellow, white, green, and blue. Return them to your hand. And then at level 3, when she attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits with 3,000 or fewer BP for each of your spirits with a different color symbol and destroy them. So very powerful in my opinion, right? I know the cost is up there, but I could see this. We were talking about it, like big red decks. The only thing that throws me off with this card is just, I mean, that we're talking about rainbow decks now, right? Like how many different colors are you gonna have ideally at one time? But definitely a good recycle card from your graveyard. And like I said, this is knowing Bandai, this is getting ready for set 3. There's gonna be something in set 3 that's gonna be okay to play all these colors. I mean, look at Smog. We got Smog early on with the expansion of set 1, and that was a rainbow color too, right? So, all in all, I mean, I like her. She has really good BP stats, so very powerful. She looks cool too.
She does. The art is great. I love the borders on the lore set cards. They're very cool.
And in person, it looks so much better. I think we saw them at Gen Con. And it has like a weird, it reminds me almost like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Hieroglyphic kind of glimpse to it. It looks really cool in person. Yeah.
So with this card specifically, talking about rainbow decks and speculating early theory crafting, right? Like we've talked about Smog. But when I see a card like this, my first thought is to be like, how do I lean into what it wants to do that's so crazy? You know, like what's the 1 out of 10 times it just does something insane? And with me, a lot of that is like, I think 2 costs. And I think of like a lot of really good 2-cost tutoring cards like Prince Pentan. Freestall really likes to see 2s. The toy soldier guy, like stuff like that. And I love the idea of rainbow decks because I think it's just like it's so varied and they're weird and they shouldn't work, but sometimes they really do. And it usually lends itself to aggro. So what do you guys think about that when summon effect? From your trash, select 1 spirit card of each of the following colors, all of them, return them to your hand. Because the first ones, like I said, 2 costs is a decent one. You know, you pick up your Freestall again, you pick up a Flame Weasel, you pick up Emerant Man, you pick up Bullet Ray, like stuff like that. Would this be, or the elemental guys?
That's what I was gonna say. I see this with the elemental guys, right? Because
I think so
you'll
too.
You'll play them early enough to get their effects right, to draw and whatnot. Then when you play this card, then you get him back again. Then you play in the same turn, ideally for free. And now her level 3 effect is active, and you can at least pop at least 3. I'm thinking about the white, red, and purple.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I was going for when I read it again when you were talking. First thing that came to mind was the elementals.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to get him back, and it's free to play. So,
not to burst any bubbles, but if you read the wording carefully, red is not on that list of colors.
Oh, that's
we don't read
smart.
cards. We're
dude.
It's
been up on the screen. I'm looking right at it. I swear, dude. We don't read cards.
Which I think is interesting because my initial thought was like, I think that rainbow this pushes you into rainbow if you like, it gets better with rainbow, but also I think that maybe it's with the current card pool that could be a bit of a trap. Like I think maybe this card could be really good to just, even if you just get back one thing and then you're doing like a burning force every time it attacks, like that's good.
Yeah, I'm not appreciating it for what it is saying. I'm the one who falls into that trap.
yeah. The trap is like you're gonna build a 5 or 6 color deck, but really this could do a lot of work in a 2 color deck.
I agree.
And it opens the door to combine with any color because it allows you to do this with any spirit other than red, which begs the question, the second ability or the level 3 ability. Actually 2 things I want to talk about this. One is like, why is it that red is getting all these like rainbow effects? Because we started with Smag
with red.
Yeah, it seems weird because I was looking at the original Battle Spirits and there is a rainbow card type that I don't know when that came out, if that was like much later or what happened. Maybe it has something to do with the lore. Maybe we'll find out like something happens with the reds. Yeah, the red spirits. Maybe they become like rainbow or something. That would be kind of cool.
Because mechanically, it is a little clunky to have to write out all of that stuff on Smag and now this.
Yeah.
Because it's like that wording is so ridiculous.
I think it's my like game designer brain thinking like, oh, there's a much more elegant way to do this. When really there's probably some specific reason that I'm just not aware of yet. Yeah. I don't have all the information.
Yeah.
But okay, my question here: second ability or level 3 ability, when the spirit attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits with 3,000 or fewer BP for each of your spirits with a different colored symbol and destroy them. What does different colored mean? Does that mean different than her color, or does that just mean like unique colors? Like if she attacks alone, does that mean that, and there's nothing else on the field that that this triggers because she's red?
I would think so, and especially because of the point that you pointed out. The top one does not mention red, so I believe that
every other color,
she would see herself, and that's why she excludes the red.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I see.
But yeah.
I think you made a good point of Tin Soldier though, because this could grab Tin Soldier out of the trash after it attacks.
It absolutely could.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
Yep.
Anyways, unless you guys have anything else you want to say about this, champ or chump? Champ or chump?
I would say champ, just because the effect's really good. I mean, you recycle the graveyard, whatever it might be, whether it's just one spirit color, that's all you need. That's all you might need, right? And the level 3 is pretty good, and she has some pretty good stats, and she's honestly not that expensive to play. Especially now that we got introduced to green, and it's a ramp base. We can get cores easily. If you're playing this mainly in a heavy red, 3 cost reduction, so you can play it for 4. I think she's a champ.
Yeah, I think especially in other people's hands, she's going to pop up in some really high level decks, and she's going to pop up in a lot of jank decks for me. But even for that fact alone, I say champ. I think she's fun.
Recursion I think champ too. Yeah, I think champ too. Anytime a card has recursion on it, I think it's a good card. The only reason I'm a little skeptical is there is a card from the first like red starter deck called Blazing Boar. Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever played with that one, that can return a red spirit from your trash to your hand when it's summoned. And I really wanted that card to work, but it just never quite did. But I don't know, maybe there's some sort of red recursion deck, or maybe like a red-purple recursion deck that you could build.
I think you could go really fast and wide, and then recur little guys and continue to go wide.
Yeah,
I think maybe that's...
Oh, you just like slamming them into your opponent. You don't care if they block them.
Like
because
freaking
they just
Exoprimal, man. Just dinosaurs running at you.
That
was a deep cut.
That could be
plays that game.
That could be a cool deck.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
It's like chess, right? You send out your pawns first.
Yeah.
But you're really making a strategy for her to be like the queen and come through and like lock you down and checkmate.
Absolutely.
And now you destroy all these little guys, and I'm gonna do this again. So
yeah,
I think that's why I still feel champ, is because I'm excited to build with this card, and I think someone will figure, like Cam said, someone will figure this out, and it will be good. And even if it just ends up being like a one-off.
Well, especially with red, red has a lot of popping. You got this, you got Dragno King, you got there's so many pops. It's like somehow, this is a crazy theory, right? But if you had her 10 blades, Dragno King, you're just popping anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 BP. Anytime, especially with Dragno King, she attacks with as long as she has a soul core on it, you could pop something at 6,000 or fewer BP. So red would be pretty scary. So plus on top of it, I'm really excited that we find out the story, right? Once we read the lore, like what is the story between her and a lot of these cards. So that's gonna be exciting. So
it is cool. And again,
cannot wait to learn more about Rainbow Mommy.
Yes. If you're not watching the YouTube versions of these videos, which most of you do, our analytics are saying like we get most of our like plays for this podcast on YouTube, which is super cool. So hello. Go over and check it out, because, or just, go onto the website and look at these cards, but they are so cool. And I am getting so sucked into the lore and the flavor text. And this is exactly what this is about. Like, they are trying to establish this IP, and I think it's really interesting. Hers is, I am the emperor, know that my will is the will of heaven. And that's just badass.
Mm-hmm.
Empress.
She does look like some kind of like Greek god, like Athena or something like that. So
she looks like a Fire Emblem character, and that's
she does. Yeah. She does. She does look like a
Yeah, it rules. And
I like it.
Her rainbow abilities are gonna play into this next one pretty well, but in a different way. This is Heroic Worm Lord Dragon. Very cool looking anime protagonist card.
I love this look. I almost like, I'm tempted to say, but I honestly think he's probably one of the coolest cards that right now I've seen in a while. It's like some Naruto Ninja Village headband. Like, he just looks so badass.
It's so sick. It reminds me of like Duel Masters and like Bakugan. It's like every Japanese anime in one. It's just literally a scaled samurai dragon man with phoenix wings and long hair. Like, it's so cool.
The full version, man, is gonna look amazing with the texture for it.
Yes.
So I would just play him just to look at him in my hand, even if it's a death card, just to look at him the whole game. It's like,
but I think this card's gonna see a lot of play because it's a 7 cost. It can be reduced by 3. It's a red War Dragon Spirit. Level 1 for 1 core, it's 5k. Level 2 for 2 cores, it's 6k. Level 3 for 5 cores, it's 11k. At level 1, 2, and 3, this spirit gains Confront if you have a burst card set. So that's pretty cool, because you're not usually triggering your bursts on your turn. There are definitely exceptions to that rule. But giving this guy Confront, he's good. 5k, 6k, that covers a lot, especially like in the turns that you're bringing him down. You can get rid of some targets there. And the level 3 ability is, while this spirit attacks, when your opponent activates a burst card that does not share a color with any of the symbols on their field, place 1 core from their life into their reserve.
I think we all know what that means.
Yep.
Absolute ice shield, more like absolute nothing.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
So you really have to think now. The game changes here, because like, you're slotting in tech when you're running most of one color, but then there are always those cards that you're going to slot in as support. Absolute Ice Shield was one that's been seeing play in any color deck since the game started. I'm thinking of like Dream Bombs, Counter Swords, Star Blessed Draw outside of red. Like,
Yep.
And that's going to force a lot of different colored Nexuses to be showing up. Which,
just to have something,
yeah, and those elementals and those little guys. So I think like there's a really cool, like this card plays well against itself across the table. I think like I don't know. It's a really neat card, and it just like both of these cards that we've talked about so far already are just making my mind go nuts on deck building and deck crafting and really thinking about sideboards again. And like these cards are really going to shake up the game that we're looking at. And like, again, Netherworld Depths outside of its color and purple bursts like that are going to be a little less effective if this guy's staring you down. Like, you might not be able to trigger your ice shield because you'll die. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a waste, right? You trigger it, you bring your life back, you still lose that life that you were gonna gain back anyway. So you're down to 1 anyways. And so at that point, it's almost like he's like your last line of defense. Like, hey, I'm attacking through. Activate if you have it. It's gonna be you have to activate it because you're gonna lose either way, but you're still gonna lose that life. So in Dream Bomb, like you said, I didn't think about Dream Bomb because Dream Bomb is when you lose life. So I'm thinking like someone like me that plays pretty much heavy purple, and I have the Dream Bombs and the Absolute Ice Shield. I don't play any other. Well, I play Axe Spider, but we'll see what happens with that. But apart from that, like I don't have any of those colors that I play. No Nexuses or anything. So that would this card would screw me over. I have no way to get around it. I mean, I can deadly balance it, I guess, but we're talking about perfect scenarios now, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is like a late game, possibly even early game, depending how it's built into the deck. But it's definitely a tech card for sure. So and I'm excited to see it because, like I said, he just looks so cool and his effect is even better. So it's definitely one of my favorite cards so far.
Well, and the thing about Deadly Balance, that's getting rid of a card on your side too. Like if you're facing off against this thing, you got to be careful about what you would sacrifice with Deadly Balance. Or like the confront ability on this guy could take away that symbol before that burst gets a chance to go off. So like he synergizes pretty well between his effects. And yeah, I just think this is a really exciting card. It makes me want to play Rad.
There could be a little bit of anti-synergy between the first effect and the second effect, because if you're trying to make this happen to trigger off of a burst where they lose life, they're not going to lose the life because they're going to block it.
That's true.
So like it could like maybe not work in your favor. It's weird because like I think thematically this card is really cool because it's so aggressive, because it's almost like if they have a burst set, they think they're safe with their ice shield. You don't have your burst set and you just drop this dude and you're like, it's game over now.
He's the epitome of make them have it.
Yeah, he's cool. The only thing, and what do you guys think about this, is that this level 3 ability only triggers off of 5 cores and it's going to cost a minimum 4 cores to get him out. So that's a 9 core commitment if you want to play him and then do his ability on the same turn.
I would argue that he's still good because typically the cards, we talked about Ice Shield, the cards that you're wanting to see them have when he comes down is towards the end of the game, and hopefully you do have those cores. That's the way I look at it. I
also look at it though too, like even if you do early on, right, the confront ability, right? So only for the 2 cores at 6,000. I mean, you're basically challenging all the little things to make room for your other things, and then by the time it is late game, then you can bump them up to level 3, and at that point you're basically closing it out. So I think he's good. I mean, I don't see there's so many things you could do with this card, that's not to mention the other synergy supports you can have with other cards that Red has that can boost up the BP or vice versa. So I think it's really good. So
I'm so sleepy right now, and I think I know the answer, but I'm spacing because I've been playing so many different games. There's no summoning sickness in Battle Spirits, right?
There's not.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
This ain't Lorcana.
Right? Dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, just making sure that. I think if we're champ or chumping this guy, I gotta say champ.
I gotta say
champ or chump. Champ.
That's unanimous champs.
You gotta be his lord. Gotta be his lord. They're like, come, my disciple. I should teach you all the skills I possess. Straight up ninja.
Shing!
Like,
yeah.
Is he the disciple or is he the master?
Oh, that's true. It doesn't say who's saying it. I don't know. He kind of has like a young.
Well, it says Lord though. You know? He's the Lord Dragon though, so maybe he's.
That's true.
I think he's teaching us. He's teaching us all of the skills that he.
I think it's him though, because Rainbow Mama said that she was like something from the heavens. So
true.
I mean, she's kind of full of herself, but it's okay though. Rainbow Mama, you can do that.
Man. Yeah.
Angel, I know I haven't done one yet, but I think you should do the next one, Angel.
I agree.
Okay. That's perfect. I'm like, apart from name. So.
Well, how about this? You do that one as long as I can do the blue one, because I really want to talk about that one.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Cool. So the next one is Imperator Manaka. Hopefully I said that right. So it's a purple card, the only purple card in the lore set, I think, before I shoot myself in the foot. Yeah, it is the only purple card so far, but I think it's the only purple card, but we'll see. So she costs 6, 3 cost reduction. It's an Imperator, whatever you say that. When summoned, select one of your opponent's Voidlord spirits and destroy it. When the spirit attacks, level 2 or 3, you may select one of your opponent's exhausted spirits and attack it. And then at level 3, while the spirit attacks, the spirit gains 5,000 BP for each War Dragon or Aegis General spirit you control. Obviously, level 1 for 1 core is 4,000. 3 cores at level 2, 6,000, and for 6 cores at level 3 is 10,000. So, and if the lower text, don't call me Imperator; it doesn't suit me.
And so for context, so far as those traits on that level 3 ability, the heroic Worm Lord Dragon is a War Dragon trait. 6 Aegis Emperor does not fall into this. She is 6 Aegis Emperor, not an Aegis General, but we will be seeing some Aegis Generals coming up. But yeah.
So I think this card's cool. I mean, the level 1, 2, the Wind Summon effect, I don't know how prevalent that is because I don't think anybody's playing Voidlords unless the blue set changes that, but I don't see Voidlords right now. So I really do like, though, the level 2, when the spirit attacks, you can select your opponent's exhausted spirit. Because a lot of times, you obviously can't attack that. So if you want to get rid of a problem spirit that's on board, even though they're exhausted, or you combine this with Thorn Prison or something like that, it's like, now I'm gonna forcefully attack this. I think it's pretty good. The level 3, like, so maybe with the synergy with the War Dragon and all that, I think at that point that's the idea of the lore, just playing them all together somehow. Will be prevalent with the 5,000 BP, but for me so far, the level 2, when the spirit attacks, is what I would use this for, just to kind of get rid of some of those pesky creatures that I do not like.
This might be another dumb question because I'm sleep deprived. When using that level 2 and 3 ability to select one of your opponent's exhausted spirits and attack it, can the defending player block that attack?
No, they can flash something to boost it, but they can't. You can't like choose another spirit to block that. It attacks that target, and that target can't block. Technically, it's exhausted, so it can never block to begin with.
Okay, cool.
It's basically like you're removing something that, for whatever reason, you might do that for. Which I'm sure there'll be other things you can get that, but that's what it's for, though.
Gotcha. Then, yeah, I think this pairs well with red, obviously, because it's looking for those traits. Not bad with green, the current exhaust meta. Green-purple is already a big deal. I think this slots in as some fun tech. And maybe we'll get a couple more Void Lords in set 3. I don't know. We don't have a green or a blue one yet, so maybe they'll throw those 2 in as cards on the list, because we do keep seeing cards that mention Void Lords, and it's part of the lore. So I don't know.
Maybe the Void Lords rush should be good.
Get some more.
Yeah, maybe they'll be good on set 3. They'll get some crazy boosts.
Playing,
for free, or playing from your deck. Like, just summon them from your deck.
Search your deck for a Void Lord, play it, lose all but 1 life or some shit.
Yeah, or maybe we'll get some type of way to like turn spirits, like change a spirit type or something like that.
Well, I think the yellow Void Lord. No, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was a card. I don't know.
The yellow Void Lord does. He just says your Void Lords can't be blocked.
That's what it is.
Yeah, your Void Lords. I think everything right now. So
no, we're getting ahead of myself. Yeah. So we're getting ahead.
The next card we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Does.
Yeah.
That.
So that I could see a combo, but we'll see. I know it's getting ahead of myself. I was like, I could have sworn it was a card I did that.
But just in case anyone was curious, I was Googling what an imperator was. Because I wasn't sure if it was like a made up word for the card game or if it was a real thing. Like I was thinking like emperor, but like with like an imp. But no, an imperator. Am I telling you guys something you already know?
No.
Oh, okay. Here's what it says according to Google. A commander, a title conferred under the Republic on a victorious general and under the Empire.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The stem of the verb imperare, meaning to order or to command. It was originally employed as a title roughly equivalent to a commander under the Roman Republic. Later, it became part of the titulature. Is that right? Titulature? Of the Roman emperors as their... Oh, God. There's too many words here. I don't know how to...
We can't speak English today. It's all right.
Yeah, I've never seen... I've never seen some of these words in my life before because it's like Latin stuff. But
it will make sense,
anyways,
though.
I mean, yeah.
It's like a really,
fits in the lore.
really high-ranking...
Yeah.
Like a really high-ranking commander.
He reminds me of Dynasty Warriors. I don't know if you guys ever played Dynasty Warriors.
For sure.
It makes sense. Like the shoguns and all that. Like that's exactly what. Or like Mulan, maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Feudal Japan, I think, is one of my like favorite styles of like art and like representation in games like this. There are so many layers to the design in this game. They are killing it. And it makes so much... When I first heard they were going to release like 20 cards with the lore book, I'm like, oh, that's kind of silly and cute. But now I'm like, yes, give me it. I
want more lore sets. We don't even have this one yet.
Yeah, I love it. I need to know all about the sports in the fairy worlds.
Yeah. I would love a lore set focused just on that.
Gosh,
like sports lore? That would be so cool.
Give me 12 new Pentan breeds and I'll retire. I'll like make a thesis about the lore of the Pentans. Gosh.
They just need to make a lore set of like each different archetype, right? Like the Maduke lore set. Everything about Maduke and why she's such a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, Maduki and then, you know, Nova, like everything. So it'd be exciting. So, I mean, I'm on defense of this card, even though it's a purple card, right?
Yeah, champ or chump.
I'm going to say in between. Because it's good for what it is, right? But it's compared to the other two that we just read, I don't see, I mean, it's like a one-trick pony right now for me. So for now, I'll say chump. I don't really mean that. It's just, I have to see more for it. It's not a card I automatically say, oh yeah, I gotta play that card, right? It has room somewhere, I'm sure, like any other card does. But compared to the last two that we just read off, I just don't see a card that I'm like, oh my god, I gotta have that on my deck, you know. But we'll see. I said maybe something happens with Warlords, and at that point, it's a sideboard card. Like you need to have this. So, and honestly,
I totally agree.
Purple, it costs 3, so it's super cheap to play.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it for BP, maybe that's why. But
it's got the same reduction curve as Netherworld Depths.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting.
I totally agree, though. I think if I had to land somewhere, I'd land chump. But I think that's just without seeing what's happening in the future. This is chump for me right now. Like I don't really see it impacting the meta based on what we currently have knowledge of. But I would not be surprised if I change my rating on this after we see what's in set 3 or maybe even further beyond.
Yeah.
So
I'm in total agreement with you guys.
Yeah, I think this would be good, like in an aggro purple, maybe. Like you're going for face, but you're also taking down the little spirits as you can, so they don't have anything. So, like I said, I think there's room for it somewhere. I'm thinking like, you know, Thorn Prison, all these exhaust cards that Green has now.
Absolutely.
This is gonna be like your big. Let me take care of the little guys, and then while my other guys are doing some of the life damage or blood curves or whatever's going on. So, I'll definitely change my tune. I'm in the middle with it. I don't think it's a horrible card. Just the other two effects are weird, you know. So
expensive for that final
one. There's already a purple card that does this as well. The like attacking an exhausted spirit. So it's not even the effect that we're like less on the fence about. Like there is another card that already does that, but I don't even think that sees play. So
and that's something that I wanted to bring up is that like this isn't a new ability. It's just one that is not being used by the player base right now.
Yep.
But I've seen it and I've thought that's pretty interesting, but it's not good enough yet. So I'm wondering if like exhaust as a mechanic is also going to be explored more in set 3 outside of just green. And this could be hinting at like maybe purple starts getting some good exhaust support, and this card and those old cards start to become a little more viable, where it's like I can take care of some targets. Like maybe giving something curse and the ability to fight something exhausted so you can bomb, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I think if they keep printing cards with this text on it, that somebody's going to build a deck around
exactly.
it.
And so that makes me excited.
And I think this card, I mean, when Eric reads the next one, I think this card gets a lot better with the next card once I saw what the cost is going to be like. So once Eric reads it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So.
Actually, can I take
Let's move on to it.
Can I take this one?
Oh, yeah, go for it, Cam.
Go ahead, Cam.
This one's my boy.
That's true. He is a well, you're about to read him.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
It's money that makes the world go round. My masters can beat anyone in a fight, sure, but they just don't get that. This is Light Aegis General Phalanus, a 2-cost reduced by 1 Aegis General Fabled Beast Spirit.
I love that they added that side type.
It's beautiful. I don't know how well he fits into the level 2 Fabled Beast deck. Maybe a cool sideboard, and I'm gonna play him anyway because he's just a beautiful blue dog with a little barrel around his neck and little bracelets. He looks awesome. Level 1 for 1 core he's 2k. Level 2 for 2 cores he's 3k. Level 4 for 4 cores he's 4k. So it doesn't quite get out of that Burning Force range very cheap at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, most 2 costs don't. I'm used to it. His effect is at level 1, 2, and 3 when summoned. You may select one of your opponent's spirits. It gains Voidlord spirit type during this turn. So retrospectively, we go back to Imperator Manaka. When summoned, select one of your opponent's Voidlord spirits and destroy it. If you're running a lot of purple, I think you slot this little 2-drop in, and that's a cool little synergy. You can target anything for not a lot of cores, because again, Imperator can be reduced by 3. Like, that's a nice curve. You can just target anything with a 2-card combo, and there's not a lot people can do about that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. What do you guys think
that 2-card combo
outside of that?
Well, I was about to ask about that though. Do you guys think that 2-card combo is like good enough?
It depends. It depends. There's scenarios I can see this card being viable, right? Like if this is all you have, to me it's another destruction. Yeah, even though it's a 2-cost combo or a 2-card combo. Something in purple, most of the purple combos for the most part is 2 cards like Backlist, Chris Dragon, etc. Right? Maduke, you need at least some other support cards to be able to make that Blood Curse really, punishing. I think there's room for it. Granted, are there other ways you can get rid of things? Yes. But maybe there's something that I don't know. It can't, I don't know. But you need to get rid of, and you can't because it's just protected by everything else. Maybe this will help. The only problem, I just keep thinking about it, it's just like, I thought away Axe Spider, but now forget. Axe Spider has protection, so it still wouldn't get rid of Axe Spider. So it's just like that pesky Axe Spider. But
if only this had been a green dog.
Exactly.
Bad boy.
The way I look about this, though, back to using it as like a little bit of tech in a mostly purple deck, what I like about it is that a lot of purple's removal is at your own detriment as well. It's like a trade, the Deadly Balance, Core Drain, you have to discard some cards. Curse, you're usually bombing something little into it to take it out, so it's like a trade. This isn't. This is 2 bodies on your board and 1 less body on your opponent's board. And for purple, that's an incredibly different type of tempo that purple does not see right now. And so that's exciting. I don't know how effective it really is. On paper, though, that feels really good to me.
Yeah. And not to mention, I mean, the dog does give him a boost of 5,000 BP. So if you're facing these big, heavy, the big heavy hitters that Red is with the high BPs,
you're taking out 2 big
that might
targets.
come in handy. Yeah, So I can't think off the top of my head, but how big does Rex get?
10K? 11K.
11K.
I'm looking.
I'm just thinking of like I mean, if we get rid of the elephant though, right? Because the elephant's like what, 12K.
It does get over the elephant.
So I'm just thinking of like high.
Yeah, Rex gets up to 10K, and then
That's only when he is that only when he attacks though.
no, that's his like level 3.
Yeah.
This is level
And the
3. Okay.
the elephant is at 10K at level 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm just thinking like, because one thing I noticed, playing purple for so long, it's like those big spirits with like 10,000. Those are kind of hard to get around unless you destroy them, bounce them. So maybe this is a way around it. If you're pushing for more of an aggro build, like I said, you're attacking exhausted spirits now, but you're also getting a 15,000 BP beater. So maybe there's room for it. I've always wondered why some of the purple cards like Core Drain and all that have like the flash increase your purple spirit by 2,000 BP. I'm like, most of your purple spirits are weak anyway, so that 2,000 doesn't really do much. So
yeah,
but it should be exciting. I mean, I think he's relevant. I'd call him a champ for me, honestly. It's good.
I gotta call him a champ.
I'll be good on some point.
So, I think I'm unfortunately going to go chump on this one. Boo. But I think with the same logic, I hate to give it to him, but I think the same logic I have for the Imperator. I think that chump for now, unless, but I'm fully willing to change that based on what the other cards we see come out are. Like I could, if this ability becomes super relevant in some way, he is very like low costed. And very playable. So I could definitely see him becoming a champ, but only if if people really start playing Void Lords, I think, the dog and Manaka being a 2-card combo is pretty solid, because if you just have Manaka, he can take out a Void Lord. If you have the dog and Manaka, you can take out anything. So pretty solid 2-card combo if Void Lords, I think, become relevant enough that you're main decking Manaka and you want to run a couple of these just to have a little bit of synergy, maybe a way to bring Manaka back to your hand. Hint, hint, wink, wink at the Rainbow Mommy to get the effect again. I don't know. I could see it happening, but I think for now, chump. One last question before we move on, though. You're in the cobblestone streets. You're having a joyous, wonderful night, and you see this blue spirit dog approach you with a barrel of some liquid around its neck with purple bubbles flowing out of it. Do you take a sip?
Hands down. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Easiest decision.
That's a mythical dog, yeah. I seen enough anime, they'd be like, I'm following the dog. I was like, that dog.
All right. We trust the dog. We're going to drink his elixir.
That dog could kill me, and I'd say thanks. I love that dog. I'll die. I will die for Phalanus. I am already... I want to now, because these cards are on the dev builder and can be imported into that TTS mod, I want to build a purple-yellow deck now. Because when we did our first event where we played Rainbow, I was playing Depths in Blessed Cathedral at the same time. And that's fun, I got to tell you. So if I can make that work, I'm going to make that work.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah,
I guess I'll get the next one, huh?
Yeah, I'll stay quiet for a little bit. Go for it.
Oh, no, you're good. Ice Aegis General Al Belt 07. This is a 4-cost 2 reduction Aegis General / Machine Beast. That's a very relevant type.
Yes.
Spirit. Level 1 for 1 core 3k, level 2 for 4 cores 6k, and then at level 2 during either attack step, all of your Imperator and Aegis General Spirits gain armor red, purple, white. So, interesting, gives armor to very specific spirit types that I believe we have only seen in the lore set. So right now that would just be the dog, Manaka,
and himself.
And himself. That's it so far.
Solid card.
I'm not a fan of the stats on this card.
Yeah.
He's very vulnerable until you get 4 cores on him.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I can see that. But he's 4 costs depending how you're playing the deck, right? Like,
I think the cores are worth it.
Can cost 2, ideally. One card I keep thinking of that would be really good with all these cards synergy-wise is Smog. Because he's all colors. Yeah. He's all colors, right? So you at least reduce these at least by 1. Because, I don't want to say it's a very basic effect, because obviously we all know how important armor is I think it's good. It could be better, right? I'm sure, but I've learned with this game that cards that we look at first glance are like, it turned out to be like the most OP card. So like the most like, oh my god, that card's really good. He looks cool though. He's like a robot monkey, kind of.
Well,
Yeah.
I think to keep in mind for future sets is like the dog Fabled Beast General has already introduced the idea of changing a spirit type. So like maybe that becomes relevant with this at some point. Like all of your spirits become Aegis Generals or something till end of turn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, it's only one. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I think that kind of like the expansions this is leading into whatever spicy stuff's gonna come out in set 3. Because like I said, this is a very very mini expansion. So it's kind of like, here you go, wait for the rest. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see when we start getting spoilers, because I think a lot of our heads can go like, oh, that makes sense with this card and that card.
Yeah.
So this might be part of the new archetype that's gonna be introduced in set 3, set 3, apart from blue. So
I fully believe that during spoiler season we're gonna come back and look at these cards quite a lot.
That dog is not a chump. He's a champ.
Yeah. You guys aren't gonna let me live that down,
man. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna clip that part where you call him a chump. I'm gonna make you feel so bad.
Hey, I said he's a chump for right now. He could be a champ later. I believe in him. But I feel the same way about this card, to be honest. I think chump for right now for me.
I just went back and looked at Smag. I really wish Smag had just one reduction symbol, one red reduction.
Yeah.
However,
yeah.
The more I'm looking at all of these, Smag is really cool to have on the board because simultaneously he is reducing anything you want to play.
Yep.
And that makes, maybe the key is just a lore set deck with the elemental spark cards and you just do some weird fucking shit. Like, I don't know.
The rainbow deck is starting to form from these like
I want to mess around
cards.
with it for sure. Like,
I like his his lore with his my lord, may peaceful slumber find you. We and Lord Manaka will finish this.
Yeah.
So purple working with white, very interesting. So I'm excited to read that book. I think that's apart from the cards. I think that's the most exciting thing for me, just to read the lore. Like, I'm just gonna chill and just read through that.
I'm actually more excited about the book than the cards.
Yeah,
which is
I
like
I'm
very excited about the cards, so that's saying a lot.
Do we know how many copies of each of these cards come in a lore set?
You get 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got to buy two, unfortunately, if you want to place that.
Honestly,
I'll probably give away my book to somebody or a shop or something. Like, here you go.
Yeah, that or if all of these do end up just feeling like really good tech, then maybe 2 copies is enough.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe some of them rise. The cream of the crop. You'll have to get singles, but honestly, having to buy 2 copies of the lore set is not that bad.
It's like $60, I think, last time I checked. So, and honestly, if the book is really cool, then I'll probably just keep one on display.
Like, honestly, I'm gonna put one out here in the studio. I've got my Keyforge stuff over there.
$60 for 2 of them, right? They're like 30 each.
Yeah,
30 each.
Hey, they're like 30 each.
That's not bad.
That's super
That's not
cool,
bad.
Man. That's 80
honestly
cards.
For that compared to what we just paid for the expansion. I think that was a little too pricey for what you got. Yeah. At least with this, you get the lore set. No, the 2 new cards are brand new, really cool looking. The textures are awesome. A book, and I think you get 3 booster packs of set 2, which doesn't say much. But you also get 3 booster packs, so it kind of it's a little bit better.
Yeah,
so
that's good value.
You can pull a Gundam. You never know.
You absolutely could. Maybe the Polaroids and the lore sets will be better than the fucking boxes.
My God, yeah, screw them boxes. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, them boxes made me not want to buy any more boxes. That was a little. I think they learned a lesson pretty quickly because my God, that was horrible.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, every game has their sophomore slump,
Yeah.
Before Chat Age of Ascension, people were like, "This sucks," and I get it, but it's funny.
So I'm chump on this guy. Where are you guys landing?
I think he's too expensive. I'm gonna go with chump for now.
I'll go Chump as well, just because I mean cost, and right now it's just two archetypes that are not widely spread just yet. So I'm gonna go with Chump right now.
Yeah.
I agree. One of you take Tokiwa, and then I'll take the guy after that.
Okay.
Okay.
You want this, Angel?
Yeah, because I'm actually thinking about playing this bad boy in
Yeah.
for my Pro Tour deck. So the next one is Wind Ages General Takuwa. That's obviously the famous bird. It has like 3 different versions of it now, I think.
Love it.
So cost 5 or 3 cost reduction. So during opponent's end step, at the start of the step, if you have fewer cards in your hand than your opponent has in theirs, you may pay a soul cord to return this card from your trash to your hand. At level 2 and level 3, while this spirit attacks, it has Gale 2, which we're starting to see that term come out more. Basically, when he is blocked, your opponent selects their specified number of refresh players to control and exhaust them. And for 3,000 for 1 core, 5,000 for 3 cores, 8,000 for 5 cores, and an awesome little flavor text. I'm glad to have served you into the end, Lord Manaka again. Oh, I am honored to have been taught so much. So this card looks badass. I'm actually already kind of in my mind brewing some different thoughts about it with my purple green deck that I'm trying to prepare for the Pro Tour. It's just a good card to me. I mean, the Gale 2 is freaking more exhaustion, depending on what they decide to do with depth, if they anything at all before the Pro Tour. More drawing ability. Free Thorn Prison. I mean, it's a lot of. I mean, with Manaka, like I was talking about, you swing with this guy. Now Manaka attacks an exhausted spirit to get over.
Yes,
it's just an awesome card. I love the way it looks. It's up there. And just I like that it synergizes with purple because that's what most people are playing right now, right? Purple green.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that the main bird of set 2. It basically is referencing you, hey, Lord Manaka, a purple card. So yeah, I love this card. What do you guys think?
I think thematically, so I've gone on record on this podcast and said that Takuwa I think is like my favorite card in the game, because of the flavor of it. Like across its different arts, it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes to fight the void lords and come back from the dead and keep fighting, and like the art between the Void Lord Ogre and Takuwa is really, really neat. And on this art, it reminds me of when, spoiler alert, I guess, for Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. But when Fox brings the sorting hat with the sword of Gryffindor and it's Harry.
It just flies in and just, here you go.
Yes, it's like that kind of vibe. And on this art, it is carrying Manaka's polearm. That is the same weapon that Manaka is using in their art. And so it just tells this whole beautiful story. And you're right. It is a fucking banger of a card. 5 cost reduced by 3 in green, which is the most insane ramp already. And you're right. Pairing it with purple, it makes Manaka look way better. And it
doesn't die.
No, it doesn't die.
Not die. It keeps coming back. And, I'm thinking, say purple green, right? Worker Ant-Man, you're ramping up, so that way it's not as expensive. Okay, now I'm gonna exhaust 2 more things again, and keep swinging at you. So I kind of really see purple now more and more, maybe going to a sort of like really aggressive aggro. Like I'm just gonna keep swinging every turn and keep exhausting your stuff.
It also doesn't specify where that soul core has to come from when you pay it.
Let me see. The point is, we're gonna pay a soul core to return this.
So like I'm assuming
so you pay from your reserve, from a spirit. Yeah, as long as it's active somewhere, not in the trash, you should be good. Yeah. So and it synergizes amazingly with with the Manaka again. Once again, it's an Aegis General, so he'll get the 5,000 BP on top of that for a super big beater.
And it creates a decision point for your opponent as well, because if they block this, then Manaka can just take out whatever it exhausts.
Exactly. So it's like you can block it. He's gonna get destroyed, but we'll be back next turn as long as you have more cards than I do. And I'm gonna swing a Manaka if I need to. So
it's brutal. We are gonna see, I think, these two, Takuwa with Manaka first. This is what's gonna be just slotted into the green purple decks that are already doing well in the meta. We're gonna see these guys come in as like probably 2 ofs each, and just dominate. That Gale too. I love that effect anyway.
Yeah.
But like even like so early in the game, if you have some green out, cost 2, put 3 more cores on it, and it gets that Gale too. At the time of the game that this thing's coming in, it's getting over a lot of things or exhausting and just hitting.
So right now in my green aggro deck, I run 2 Emperor Bird All Deeds, or whatever that card's name is. It's my 5 cost. It's like my very upper end of my aggro deck because I keep things pretty cheap.
Yep.
As soon as I saw this, I was like taking out the All Deeds and slotting in 2 of these.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, like it's good. I mean, especially in a format that we all want to, there's Star Bless draws, there's Depths, Rod and Swamp. Ideally, your opponents or one of your opponents gonna volcanic. You're gonna be drawing cards, right? So, you should be able to revive this bird, and it's at any time, I think. So it can live in your graveyard for a long time, and then when your opponent forgets about it, at some one turn, oh hey, surprise! I'm actually gonna get this back.
He's
to my hand.
back.
I love it.
So it's awesome, man.
When recursion has such a cool theme behind it, it feels a lot less bad. And like that's something that this game does really, really well. Like purple is, like the reanimate, the Beldegor, like they're just coming back from the shadows. This is just a phoenix rising from the ashes after fighting, and just it's just so beautiful. And it's I think this is my favorite of the lore set cards, even over the general, because again, I just love Takiwa.
Yeah.
It's a cool card. I do also like. I'm always wary of recursion effects being added to a card game because they often will break the game in some way.
They are powerful,
but I think that they balance this really well because it has a trigger that causes it to recur that your opponent is in control of. It's kind of like what we talked about with like playing against Netherworld Depths is like, it's a really solid card because you draw a card when you're doing the thing that you probably want to be doing, which is attacking your opponent or defending yourself. But at the end of the day, it's still your decision to do that thing. And that's kind of how it is with this, where it's like your opponent is aware of the fact that you get this back if they have more cards than you. So it's kind of like in their hands if this comes back to your hand. And that's just another thing that they need to think about as they're playing against you. If you're playing this card, they have to be aware of the fact that if they have more cards than you, you're going to get this dude back. So I think the recursion effect is pretty well balanced with that, and that it's not just you can just do it every single turn.
Well, not even that too. It's also a perfect target for reanimate. If it's in your graveyard, reanimate. It costs 5 fewer. If you're playing a heavy immortal purple deck, it synergizes with that. So okay, you destroyed it. Now I can summon something else from my graveyard back on the field. So you should ideally always have, possibly 2 to 3 spirits. So where that's the one part I think purple struggles a lot of the time. It's like your spirits get popped little by little, and you usually have 1 or 2 big things, so you can get like really wide. I think it's an amazing card, and I'm excited to play test with it. It's definitely in my mind of cards that I might even take to the Pro Tour to play with if the deck does well. So I'm excited for it. I love it. Love the art. Love the way it does. What it does. It's cool. It reminds me of like a legendary Pokemon bird. Like it's just like it's amazing.
Yeah, man.
So all 3 of us are champs on this one. It sounds
champ.
I'd say champs. Yeah.
The easiest decision.
Yeah. Clearly the biggest champ of the cards that we've looked at so far, I think. For me anyways.
But we'll see about this next one. We don't have a lot of context for it. But...
So
watch out now.
All right, I wanted to do this one because one, it's the first blue card we're ever seeing like officially. I guess like there was like a couple blue cards that were like influencer cards that got leaked like a long time ago, but let's pretend those don't exist. And this is our first blue card. This is Revolutionary Zayon, and he is a beast folk, 9 cost, 4 reduction blue spirit. Level 1 for 1 core, 5k. Level 2 for 4 cores, 9k. And at level 2, when he attacks, you may select a Nexus card from your trash and place it. So he lets you recur Nexuses from your trash when he attacks. And the main reason I wanted to talk about this card, really quick, Cam, I'm sorry.
No. I'm sorry. Go for it.
He is a blue guy with a gun.
He's so fucking cool.
Yeah. He said, "Fuck the sword. I'm just gonna shoot your ass." Like
he has a sword, but then he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna use the gun here.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, he's
Um,
dope.
Cool.
I don't know what it is about this card, but it's not a funny card, but I can't help but laugh when I look at this.
It's
I
just
don't know what the
so
problem is.
over the top fucking cool.
I mean, you have the waves clashing behind him, the sunset, and just a big ass barrel gun pointed at you. Like it's just like
Man.
you mess with my kind. It's like calling Ringo. Like he's like I like him. He's dope. Like he's really dope. And, and one thing I just noticed, maybe this card allows me to see a little bit better. You can actually see almost a full art a lot better on some of these. Than the previous cards, right? Okay.
He's like
I can see his little thing. Like he's like on a rock or something, or the end of a
crashing
shore.
waves behind him.
Yeah.
I love the
his flavor text. His flavor text says, "Your Highness, this dreadful world left Sir Manaka to die. You must bring about its end and reforge it with your own hands." So, who do you think he's talking to?
Mentioned a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's either talking to the Aegis Emperor, or maybe someone in the Beast Folk trait.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, we know Manaka dies.
Yeah, Manaka definitely dies.
We see that happening.
But also Manaka's out of purple, so could come back.
Exactly. Manaka's not going down without taking a whole shit ton of people with them.
Yeah.
Dynasty Warrior style.
Yep.
So my mind obviously, as far as playing this card, my mind obviously goes to bring Netherworld Depths back from the trash. Any Nexus, but that's immediately where my mind goes. Obviously, blue, or not obviously, but from what we know about blue from the original Battle Spirits, is that it is likely to be Nexus heavy. So this card likely becomes even better as we get more blue cards. I think right now, since there's no other blue cards, paying 9 for this without any way other than like Smag to reduce its cost is like way too expensive. But I think that it's not even when summoned. So it's like every time it attacks, you get a Nexus back. So I think if you're playing a blue deck that focuses on Nexus spam and your opponent is trying to deal with it, this just makes it feel like really bad. Like you destroy their Nexus and then they drop this guy and swing in and like get it right back. And now if you destroy it again, they can just get it next turn. Now he's like an immediate threat. I think he could be really, really good. There's no way to tell right now.
Right.
What do you all think?
As far as, we don't have any other blue cards. I haven't seen any yet at all, but just from speculation, right now it's almost impossible to play him, even as tech. But I want to bring your attention to some of these Nexuses from set 2 that have you may destroy this Nexus flash effects to do something. Far-flung land is one of them. Level 1, level 2, during your opponent's attack step, flash. You may destroy this Nexus to select one of your spirits. It gains 3,000 BP. Next turn, being able to just set that back down and reestablish that threat seems pretty cool. I don't know how specifically good that example is, unless we're getting blue Nexuses that have similar abilities and maybe also when summoned abilities, or when placed. And then I think that's the obvious take on it, right? Like, you match him with those Nexuses. And that's a space mechanically that I really would like to see as a very cool, haha, back from the dead. I get to pop this Nexus again and draw cards, or boost up my guy, or restand this blue guy and then maybe do a loop there. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. So mine's obviously a little bit biased because I was actually able to play with the original Battle Spirits and it was a blue deck. Cool. So I'm with you guys. Right now, I don't really see it. It's too expensive for what it does. Which, it could work with some of those flash Nexuses, but being able to play the original Battle Spirits with blue, those Nexuses that if it's very similar to what they did in the original Japanese version, they're broken. Some of those blue Nexuses were freaking crazy. I forgot what one was called, but it was one that you just basically dump the top cards of your deck as the cost for any Nexus that you're playing off it. So you're basically dumping Nexuses into your graveyard, and then with that guy, you bring him back in. So I think this is definitely orientated for more of set 3 when it finally gets announced, because blue, it relies on a lot of blue Nexuses. And from my experience when I played with the original version of the game, it's crazy. Like blue was, I can see why, Costume's been a big blue guy. He's been talking about that forever. I can see why blue is gonna be a popular color for sure. So that guy's gonna be very scary. I mean, maybe that's why he has a gun, but it's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
Like Nexus,
He's intimidating, man. Like, save the best for last, right?
I mean, to you guys' point, right? Like, getting rid of Nexuses in this game is pretty expensive for every other color, right? Burning Force. I mean, you could Dream Bomb, and that just basically just stalls you one turn. So to be able to, like, I think Eric or Cameron said it, like, you waste that resource to get rid of it, and then this guy comes out next turn. It's like, it's back. He's just wasted a turn for no reason. So, blue's gonna change the game a lot, and I'm excited for that because that's, I think, what we need. All the colors. Now we can see all this card pool. What can we do now? And it's only gonna get better and better at the beginning of the year with more cards being introduced. So it's a good time, man. I love this game. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild.
So I think I land on this guy where I've landed on a few others, which is Chump for right now, but I've got my eye on him.
Yeah, we'll definitely come back to him retrospectively and be like, we had no idea how good this guy was.
Yeah, if we're talking about meta right now, I'll say Chump right now, but he's obviously going to be a champ here in a couple weeks. So it's like,
I would be very surprised if I don't change my ranking to champ after I see some more blue cards.
For sure.
I don't see a world where getting a Nexus back from attacking is bad. He is costly, so maybe the only reason I could see him being a chump still would be if we get other cards that do a similar thing for cheaper. That would be my only reasoning, but I just can't help but feel like he's going to be solid. Also, the fact that he doesn't pay attention to the cost of the Nexuses, and I don't know how much blue Nexuses cost. Cost or color. So, I mean, we might get like a 10 or 12 cost Nexus that's, crazy at some point. Like, who knows? And then he just brings that back for free. Like,
well, I always go to Volcanic Canyon, Eric, because I've seen you utilize the shit out of that card. And the more like interaction with the discard pile that we're getting from set 2 and looking like we will in set 3, like it just makes sense. If you're running blue, you're probably going to be running Nexuses of every color, and that also gets around that War Dragon.
Yeah, War Dragon, but like blue is very mail heavy too, right? It's supposed to be, so it wants to mail. So having Nexuses in your trash is gonna be very, very easy. So even if your opponent chooses not to destroy them, so
they're gonna wind up in there anyway. Cool. Well, we got 3 cards left. These are I think is it 3 Nexuses or is there one action? There's one.
Two Nexus and a Magic.
And a Magic,
Cool.
Do you want to take the Magic, Cam, and Angel and I will take these Nexuses?
Sounds good to me.
Right. Do you want to do this
I'll take the green one. I'll take the green one if you want to take this one. Yeah.
So the first Nexus of the lore set, it's Victory Oath. So it's a red Nexus, 5 cost, 3 cost reduction. At level 1 and 2, when placed, you and your opponent each draw 2 cards. And then for 2 cores at level 2, during your attack step, when one of your spirits destroys one of your opponent's spirits with 3,000 or fewer BP in battle, you may refresh it. So, I think this card's pretty good. I mean,
I think it's
red.
good.
I mean, once again, red doing red does, destroying and drawing. So it's more drawing ability for red. Yeah, sure, your opponent gets to draw some too, but honestly, red is so aggressive that the ability to be able to refresh your spirit as well and, push again for damage. It's really, really cool. Vice versa, right? You can play devil's advocate. You allowing your opponent to draw 2 cards can bite you in the ass,
Yeah.
But like anything else, it's all situational. I mean, from experience, I've had 25 cards in my hand from depths and had no plays. So 2 cards is not gonna mean anything to me. But I think it's cool, and I love the freaking artwork. Like them 2 meeting each other, touching their weapons, like. It's such like a mutual respect, and I don't know what that is behind us, like destroy.
Yeah,
I feel like it might be the white Void Lord, but I'm not sure. It is obviously something mechanical.
Yeah.
But yeah, this art is so cool. This is one of those cards I wish had flavor text, but since it's a Nexus, it doesn't.
That's what you have the book for. Read the book,
exactly.
guys.
It's incredible art.
So what do you guys think on it, though?
Well, if you're playing a multi-Nexus deck, like multicolored Nexus deck, you could play this with Rocket City, and then the first ability is not as powerful for your opponent, right? Because then they have to discard.
Oh wow, dude!
True.
Nice.
So, like, if you're leaning into that heavily, I think that could be really cool. The second ability, I think, also is really interesting for a lot of the like BP reduction we've seen in set 2 and even some in set 1, where like there's like that Arcana girl that can like reduce by like 1k or 2k like here and there. If you can like kind of get that to pop off, you might be able to do something weird with the other landers where like you can like get stuff down to 3k and then kill it and then refresh and then kill and then refresh and basically do the Brandbore thing I was trying to do.
That's what I thought.
Kind of in it, but do it in a different way. I mean, you'd need Confront to pull that off, I guess, but
you have that in red.
Or with Manaka, right? Because with Manaka, you can attack Exhausted Spirit, so you attack, destroy it. Now your spirit gets refreshed. Attack another Exhausted Spirit, refresh. Boom. Now you're board wiping and you're refreshing, and then literally clearing the whole board out. So I could see that with Manaka. And purple loves to draw, so I could definitely see that.
It's aggro tech against aggro, and I really like that.
Like, I will punish you. Like, Thesaurus, I will punish you. Go ahead and swing. Now I'm going to punish you for every Exhausted Spirit you got by swinging in and popping each one. So I like it. I mean, I like this card. I love the way it looks. Once again, it's just a picture, right? But in real life with foiling and just what it does. I mean, you get to draw 2 cards and you can refresh your spirits, and it's only at 2 cores. Like, whoopsie-doo. Like, it's not that big a deal. So. And it will help you with some of the other synergies, like against the Worm Lord Dragon, right? At least you have a red Nexus. So if you're playing some kind of burst that's red or whatnot, you won't get punished for it because you have a red Nexus on the field. So I noticed that did red get 3 cards in this lore? Yeah, it did. Red got 3, so which makes sense, I guess. I mean, I think that's the order of color. I think red is the first one. So
yeah, I think red is like always going to be like main character energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I haven't even really watched much of the different animes, but I watched a little bit, and it feels like the main character always has a red deck. Like that's how it always goes. Yeah. So what do you guys think? I am very torn on this one. I kind of want to give it champ because like it does inspire me to want to build something with it. So I feel like it could be pretty decent. Like I feel like if it's something is exciting enough for me to want to build a deck around it, then it must be pretty good. Or at least like interesting enough and like have some good abilities. But I don't know. I'm also kind of chump though, because like we were talking about, I feel like your opponent draws 2 cards sucks unless you have some way to mitigate that. But now we're talking about comboing it with like something specific. And then the second ability is like you have to build around it, I feel like. So I don't know. What do y'all think?
I think it's a champ for me. Like, I mean, it's up there. Any Nexus that costs, you can play Rotten Swamp, whatever. I mean, if one costs more, I think, than those, you don't have the cost reduction if you're playing it in purple. But the ability, you have another way to draw cards, right? And I think besides the drawing, I'm not even worried about that. I think what I like most about it, it's just the ability to refresh your spirit, especially if you do some kind of crazy combo where you can just board wipe in a different manner, because right now the only board wipe, at least in my case, is back with Cursed Dragon, right? So and one thing that I just noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed too, and I know they've talked about it, the new cards are going to have these. If you look in the far right corner, they actually say who's the illustrations from.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
I just realized something actually. Could this card be used as like a finisher card?
Yeah.
Because you can like, if it's like they're down to 1 core and then you drop this and now it's like, okay, we both draw 2 cards, but I can take advantage of this more because it's my turn and I might win this turn, so it doesn't even really matter. And then if I attack you and you chump block me, now I'm like refreshing. So it's like,
I'm thinking Maduk block curse. You're gonna block because you don't want to, and now I'm gonna destroy your spirit and I'm gonna refresh each one that destroyed one. Well, I guess as long as it's 2,000 or fewer BP.
Right.
I guess that's the only caveat I guess I could see with that. But either way, though, I think it's a good card because it's one of those cards where you're either playing it because you need more drawing, you need more cards in your hand for whatever reason to get another way out, or you're about to, like you were saying, Eric, you're about to finish them because you have some sort of combo that you're gonna do with the level 2.
And it draws into the combo pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
As well. So.
I think it slots into a lot of decks right now. And it's one of those skill testers, that we talk about a lot. It's like you are giving your opponent resources, but if you know that it is a better deal for you, it's a no-brainer and it's powerful. I think of A Whole New World in Lorcana to tie it all together.
I was thinking of the same exact thing because we had this almost the same discussion last night.
Yeah. It's a 5-cost song action in Lorcana, but it basically... what it does is you and your opponent both discard your whole hand and draw 7 cards, a la Professor Oak and Pokemon. But for both of you, and when you look at that, it's like, how good is that really? Because if you're not having a character sing it, you're spending a lot of resources to look at 7 cards in your hand that you're probably not going to be able to use before your opponent gets to use their 7 cards. But if you are very aware of your matchup and where you are at in the game when you play that, it can absolutely end the game. So I gotta go with Champ. Champ.
He went through all that, like explaining in detail. And I gotta go with it's a piece of shit. It's like damn.
It's a turd.
So obviously this card sucks ass.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
God, you be an amazing professor, Ken. You like, and after I went to all this, and this is the paperwork. You guys are all just pieces of shit. It's like
someone's like you're giving a motivational speech, and you're like,
you're all gonna die.
Yeah, and then at the end of the motivational speech, you're like, and that's why you should all quit.
Yeah. And that's why nothing I just said matters at all.
You remind me of Chef Ramsay, like on Hell's Kitchen. Like, my God, he said, "I'm amazed. Thank you, Chef. What a piece of shit this plate is." It's like,
Dude, I pulled the rug out from under my own self. I was surprised when I heard me say that.
Yeah, you weren't even expecting to say that.
I wasn't, man.
Oh God.
Holy shit.
All right, so Champ on that.
What do you think, Eric? Did you say you said Champ or Champ?
I didn't actually pick one. I think Champ.
Okay.
I think Champ. Yeah, I think it's a good card, and I think there's ways to make it great with some comboing. And I think even though it needs comboing to be better, it draws you into the combo pieces. So I feel like it works. I'm excited to build with it. So
me too.
And that's very rare for you, Cam, because it's a Nexus. And you don't typically get excited about those.
Like I am very anti-Nexus as far as like my deck building, but it looks like I'm gonna have to get over it because
I mean the only Nexus I've ever seen you get excited about is Spring of Norn.
Yeah. These are better Nexuses though, admittedly, especially coming off of the heels of Set 2. Like I feel like
I probably fluff Nexuses because obviously from Yu-Gi-Oh, field spell cards, right? Hearthstone introduced locations now.
Yeah.
Marvel Snap technically has Nexuses, right?
Sure.
So it's pretty cool, and I think Nexuses really help fuel the game. Those extra little quirky things you can do with them than just playing flat out spirits. Here's the effect. That's all I can do. The Nexuses change it up a bit. So, and honestly, I think this would be really cool just seeing this on your field. I mean, the artwork is so cool, and I love it.
Especially if you are running the 2 characters from the card.
Yeah,
it's neat.
Set 2 did give us Giant Beast Forest, arguably the best Nexus in the game. The one where when it's destroyed, you place 2 cores from the void into your reserve, but there's no reason for your opponent to destroy it.
Yep.
So
that's just like, here you go. Just keep sitting there.
Though, if Set 3 comes out with a card that says destroy all Nexuses, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking that has to be why it's designed that way. I don't think you're going to be able to pick and choose with removal in Set 3. So you can be cheeky and throw one down that one specifically, or maybe a couple other ones.
Which is also why I think Bandai's not too worried about Netherworld Depths, to be honest. I think we're going to get so much Nexus hate.
Yeah.
I think Nexus hate is going to be rampant because of Blue.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's a different discussion for a different time. For right now, Let's get into the Imperator's Great War. This is a 4-cost 2 reduction green Nexus, which I'm excited about because we don't have a lot of good green Nexuses. I feel like we have maybe 2. So level 1 for 0 cores, and level 2 for 2 cores. So at both levels, during your attack step, when one of your Imperator or Aegis General spirits destroys one of your opponent's spirits in battle, you may exhaust this Nexus to place a core from the void onto this Nexus. So it's doing some green rampy stuff.
Good
and
God.
Yeah, green needed some more ramp. I don't think there was enough ramp in green yet. Level 2, during your attack step, when one of your spirits reduces your opponent's life, you may discard a card to draw a card. I think that's fun.
I think that's fun,
cool.
too. It's super fun. You can put
Tequila
in the trash.
Yeah, you need more drawing in green anyways, So
this is now the second card in green that has the word draw on it.
Yeah.
The only other card is that other Nexus that is not. That one is you draw a card when you take damage yourself. Yeah. This is when you draw a card whenever you reduce your opponent's life, which is more similar to that red Nexus that is very playable. The only downside here is you're discarding a card, but to Angel's point, you just discard Tequila and then you get him back.
Yeah, it's tutoring, and that's always good in this game. And
Belgor, discard Belgor. Bye-bye. I want you in the graveyard, and I'm ramping. This is something I would play in purple as well, obviously.
Absolutely.
In fact, that's the way to look at it is don't look at the discard a card part as a negative to the effect. Look at it as this is an additional piece of the effect that makes this card good.
Yeah.
Plus, you get to put something specifically in the trash.
Right. And plus you're running depths also, so you're not hurting for card draw in the deck that this slots into.
I think what's cool about a lot of these Nexus I just noticed too, everybody there's been complaints about that, so the drawing ability and the way it reads, and I get that it's still broken, right? But a lot of these Nexuses all have draw abilities now, right? This is the second one we've seen it. Draw. So it's pretty cool. And I think the green needed this for sure, right? Because green does not have any drawing. Eric, I could possibly even see this. I know you don't run Nexuses at all, but maybe in some sort of fashion of your list tweaked a little bit. You're ramping and you're drawing to get you some more of those finishing pieces. So
I'm horny
about this one. It will only cost you 2, so
just gonna be honest, man.
You're horny about that bird right there. Looks
this one
good,
does it for me, dude.
Yeah, it's good. It's a cool card.
I can't wait to revisit purple green because it's just gonna be fun. Fuck.
So I think this card's champ. It's one of the best green Nexuses we've seen.
That's
so far.
true too, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the artwork?
I love it. Anything with Tequila on it.
It's Tequila. Where is he? What's going on here?
It looks like a sacred Trump tree, or he's trying to
he's overlooking. He's standing on a cliff, looking down at this forest, and there's a huge tree with a rope around it, and there is fire and smoke coming in from the left side of the card. Yeah. So it looks like he's about to swoop in and be like, "Not in my house, bitch."
Well, what's interesting, right? It's the Imperator's Great War, right? So he's probably watching for Manaka, he needs help. Let me fly in now with the his weapon. Yep. So I wonder if he started a war. Interesting. I'm excited to read the lore. The more and more I see some of these cards and look at the artwork, how does this all tie together? Did Manaka start a war or something, and then he ended up, dying because of whatever? I don't know. It's very interesting. And who's the war with? So many questions.
I think it's
against the Void Lords.
I think that question gets answered with the art on the next card.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, which is Cam's card.
Man, this one's so fucking metal. I love this. This is
I think this also proves you were right about the art on Victory.
I think so. So this is the last card that we're going to look at today. It's a yellow magic card. 4 cost, can be reduced by 3. It's called God Slaying, which is badass, and it features Manaka with the pitchfork in hand, facing down the white Void Lord machine chimera thing. Very Shin Megami Tensei. Super cool.
Lion Machine God Superbia.
Yes,
that's the name of that thing.
So sick. Great action shot here. It's a magic burst. When opponent resolves a spirits when summoned effect, your opponent's spirits that cost 2 or fewer cannot attack or block during this turn. You may then, this sucks for me. You may then pay this card's cost to activate its flash effect. Flash, when resolving the next battle this turn, compare cost rather than BP. The spirit with the higher cost is destroyed in battle. If their costs are equal, both spirits are destroyed. That's crazy. There's a lot going on with this card.
Yeah, I could see this in a luster package, obviously. But that flash is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's like both
it's like
pro
a
and anti. Yeah.
Yeah. It works against itself, like in a mirror match. But like, yeah, because to me, the flash effect is cool because like my flying turtle can slay a god. My flying turtle can slay anything, and then I still get the draw off. Or like, that's just so cool. And it makes, you know, my little cheap guys good against, you know, Dragno Kings and like anything because they're the smaller ones. I'll be slotting God Slaying in my 2-cost Fabled Beast deck.
I mean, and this can upset Terra pretty good too. I think actually.
Yeah.
So it's definitely. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you play this more mainly for the burst effect. Obviously, the more than the flash, but it's good and it was cool. You know, when I first saw this card, at first I thought it was like Anubis fighting, but then I see it's Manaka. I was like, man, is that Anubis?
It does look like very Anubis.
Very like Yu-Gi-Oh inspired, like Anubis, but it's cool. I mean, do you feel like this is a like, oh my god, this is a card to have, or is it kind of like it has room somewhere?
I think it's good. I think it's good for me. I like this one because it's a 1-cost. I think it fits into Luster decks. It turns Dr. Duck into Dr. Godslayer.
Yeah.
And then you can recycle it and do it again with your Pentans. Like that's kind of cool. It gives the yellow 2-cost deck something that it doesn't have, and that's the ability to kill other creatures instead of just throwing a bunch of Karibo at the wall until it smothers them. Or, you know, it's like 1 duck-sized horse or 10 horse-sized ducks. I got that backwards, but but I think it's cool. I think the reduction on it is sick in my yellow deck, and I'll probably slot 2 of these in there for the flash effect. I don't think I'll be setting it as burst.
I agree. I think that this card is very, very good, and I think kind of like we were talking about earlier with kind of like what cards initially kind of draw you into what you think you should do with them. I think the burst is kind of a trap here. I think maybe you use that for the mirror match. If you're playing like low cost yellow, then yeah, you do set it. But I think really what you're doing is you're just swinging in with Dr. Duck. You're making him like unbeatable in combat, and then you're just getting it back to your hand, and it only costs you 1.
Yeah.
And you're just doing that over and over and over again. I think this card is pretty solid. I think you have to build around it a little bit.
Yeah,
but also I think it's
in a more heavy yellow deck than anything else.
I think even just as a one of, I don't know that I'd play it outside of yellow.
Right.
I don't know that it's that good, but I mean, maybe I might slot like probably like 1 at most of these in my green aggro deck because I do have Tin Soldier in there, so I could get and Arcana Jokers, so I could get some cost reduction. But like if I swing in with Worker Ant-Man and then you block with like, you know, something else, I can make Worker Ant-Man kill your big thing, which is kind of cool.
That is.
Yeah, that's very true too on that.
I think you have, now that this card exists, you have to be a little suspicious every time somebody is swinging in with like a little dude and it doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I think it fits in my purple yellow build that I want to do too.
Yeah, I think the flash, like I said, I mean, it's doing what yellow does. Yellow has all these little annoying pesky magic cards that do little quirky things, and it's like if you're not expecting it, you can catch somebody sleeping with this and just kind of like, all right, here you go. So it's like, like, I want you to block because then I'm gonna activate this in the flash. So, and you can't change the cost of a card that I mean, unless something comes out later on, but. So it's just like you can suppression all you want, you can do whatever. It's based off the cost, not the BP. So you can definitely catch.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, so
I was thinking there was a card that does that, and then I remembered that I was thinking of the One
One
Piece card
Piece,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
playing too many different games. See, playing too many different games.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
like, wait a minute.
I was
There
like,
is a
no,
card
Tashigi
that
does it every. Oh.
Yeah.
If you guys had to pick one favorite card from the lore, what would you pick?
Takawa.
Takawa? I'm the same boat. I'll go with Takawa for me.
You know, that little shred of me that wants to be different and unique and special wants to say something else, but I think Takawa. Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking spice in these 10 cards, though, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
They're bangers, and I think they'll all age really well with set 3. I think that's the point.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that they included 2 copies of each one, right? So
yeah.
If you think about it, if this was on a set or something, like the Takawa, that might be what, X-Rare maybe or whatever. Like, it's such a good card that you get 2 of them just for one whole set, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it comes with 2 different versions, right? It comes with this version as well as like a regular version of the card that's just foil.
Oh, does it? I don't know.
I believe one of the cards is like this special foiling, and then the other version is like a regular foil.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, which is cool, but also like, you know, the completionist in me is like, great, now I have to buy 4 of these. But also
that's where I'm at. It's like, damn it, I don't want to have 2 different things. I want to have all of it. Like,
yeah.
Let me pull it up really quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up too right now. See.
So
promo card, 1 hollow plus 1 gold foil.
Oh,
so yeah,
man, those are gonna look so good.
I'm gonna want the gold foil. Yeah, like, I want to go foiling.
Oh, Phalanus can be a god slayer easily.
He can.
Aw.
Let's see how the prices settle for these cards, because I mean, you get all of these cards in there for $30, and Battle Spirits cards singles have been pretty cheap. So maybe Cam's right. Maybe I do. No, I'm gonna buy 2, but
I'm gonna buy.
But
2.
like maybe you buy 2, and if you
though,
and then you upgrade later.
You buy 2, and if you're like, oh, you know what, I'm actually playing 3 Tokawas a lot. I mean, let me buy like a single of the gold foil Tokawa. So I have a third one.
Yeah,
I think 2 for sure to have a playset, obviously, and then the rest. It's not a necessity to have the gold foil. That's just kind of the inner collectors of us having bad financial conditions. So it's just like, let's just do it. Like,
well, I also have this weird thing where I almost feel like I'll have to see how I feel when I get the cards, but I almost feel like I might prefer the regular foils over the gold foil ones, like just because they look so different from the regular cards that it might feel weird to have like a deck that's like mixed of these like different types.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually true though. I might actually be like, oh, these are so badass, I want to use them. But
that's where I'm
leaning. We'll see.
For sure. When does this come out?
It comes September 29th, I think it is.
Perfect.
Yeah, the very end of this month.
Cool. I'll be back from vacation to secure the bag.
I think that's a good way to transition to the end of our episode here as well.
Think so too.
This has been a longer one, but that's okay because it might be a little bit before we get another episode out. So I hope you enjoyed this longer episode of Absolute BSS.
Yeah. So that's we're gonna shut it down here. I had a lot of fun talking about the lore sets with you. Like, Eric, when you said that fucking shit about when you said the Rocket City when we were talking about Victory Oath, I was just like, I like threw my hands up in the air because like this is why I love doing this podcast with you two, because we all play this game differently and look at it differently, and that's a testament to this game. And I just like you guys say shit that I would never think of, and it just blows my mind. It's so fun.
I saw Eric do it too when I had brought up, I forget what the combo was, and you're like, oh yeah. So it's just like just different mindsets, man, and that's the good thing about the game.
Sorry to do this to you, Cam, but it turns out that Rocket City combo doesn't work though, because it says during opponent's turn. So
okay. Still though, but you're making those connections. We don't read our cards, but you're making those connections, and it inspires me to do better with my deck building, and that's just something this game fucking owns at. It is so much fun to sit and spend.
This game's amazing, man. Like, I mean, I I was telling my wife the other day, I have no regrets getting into this game.
Same.
And it feels like it was so long ago, but it's not. And the more and more things come out with it, the more and more I fall more and more in love with it. Like it's just such a fun game. The mechanics are amazing. All the player base that I've met up to date has been fantastic. So
It's special.
I just want the game to do well, and I'm definitely gonna be picking 2 copies of this. And if I want to get crazy, maybe pick up 4 copies. But I'll definitely pick up 2 copies for sure.
Absolutely.
I don't need 4 lore books. I don't need 4 lore books, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that being said, just want to thank you all once again for tuning in to Absolute BSS and talking to us in the YouTube comments, on the Spotify Q&As, in the Discord, which links to all of that are in the show notes or the description below this video. It's been such a blast. We're getting more and more people in the Discord. People are looking for games. People are throwing up deck lists, talking about their locals. It is a blast, and it's very, very special and important to me. And I'm sure these guys too. And once again, just want to thank Eric and Angel for always being here to talk Battle Spirits Saga with me. And
Anytime.
yeah, this was a fun one. So yeah, I'm heading out of town for like 10 days. So we're most likely not going to throw up an episode. If something crazy happens, you two probably are going to throw up. Like if Netherworld Depths gets banned, Eric said, he's like, we got to do an emergency episode.
Yeah, I think that is like, for anything from set 3, even if just like a small one where like set 3 finally gets a freaking trailer teaser or something, we can talk about something real small. But yeah, I mean, definitely we'll be back in a couple days.
Yeah.
Candy's a well-deserved vacation.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So
you should sleep on your vacation.
I'm gonna try. I'm so tired. I did not sleep last night.
Just make sure if you sleep on the beach, you put sunscreen on.
Oh yeah. I'm good. But yeah, so we it'll be a couple weeks before the next episode, but the next episode's probably gonna have some good experience from gameplay with some of these lore cards. We'll have them physically in person to talk about, and yeah, we're gonna be entering spoiler season for set 3 soon. And that's always so much fun because we get to do this. We just get to speculate and theory craft and just get all those little hits into our veins. But until then, enjoy the rest of the month. Keep it up, y'all. Support your local game stores. Support your friends in the games, and just have fun with it. Have a good time because this is a cool game, and some exciting things are on the horizon for Battle Spirits Saga. Anything else you guys want to add before we sign off?
I'm going to say join the community, subscribe on YouTube. We're at 54 subscribers right now.
Oh shit.
So we're 46 subscribers away from playing Battle Shot Saga, where we have a shot for every one of our life cores. So
we got to do like a half shot for each core, right?
Well, I was thinking like maybe it doesn't have to be like straight liquor. Like maybe we do like, those like green tea shots or like lemon drops or whatever, I mean, maybe if we want to, I don't know. I feel like Angel, you seem like the kind of guy that's going to be like, nah, I'm doing it.
Hey,
I mean, I could.
Get my rum, get my bourbon, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I could. I'm a tank.
There's also,
but should I?
There's also been like you said, there's been people looking for games in the Discord, and it seems like there's a huge like wanting for like some community game nights and stuff. And we've kind of been like talking about it here and there. So we don't have any concrete plans for that, but I think we will for sure at some point host like game nights, maybe give away some like tokens as prizes and things to people. And we're going to do some fun stuff. So join now, as we're growing. And that stuff is coming. I don't have any like concrete plans for it right now, but we're definitely doing some of that stuff in the future, just based on like everybody in the Discord. I feel like they would probably do it themselves, even if we weren't pushing for it, because it seems like we've got a cool little community growing of people who just want to play this game. So
that's good.
Which
I like it. Like I said, we were all unfortunately this week week and a half has hit all of us in the ass, I think, which has all been super busy. So, but we're definitely will be involved in the Discord. I think I shot out a couple replies here and there today. So it's just it's a little crazy. You know how life is, but we're definitely excited to see you guys join and grow and talk amongst each other and ask questions and support. So we'll keep that up, and it's only gonna get bigger and bigger, and we'll definitely grow. So it's excited to have you guys along with the journey. So
Yeah, I love it. Well, you'll hear about it on here, but you'll definitely hear about it first if you are in the Discord. So again, want to really encourage you to join us over there. We'd love to have you. Find us at Absolute BSS Pod on YouTube, Twitter, and I think that's it. Well, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this right now.
Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, for sure. That's
And
where I listen.
by the way, when we're saying join the Discord, the link should be in the description of whatever you're using to listen to this, just so that way
you'll find it.
People aren't like, but how? Yeah. How do I join?
It's right there. It's right there. And
the code is RXBGY7K.
It's really just binary code 0001000. Yeah.
But oh man, unless you're sick of us listening to us talk, I kind of am. I'm just kidding. If I had to rate this podcast champ or chump, obviously I'm gonna go chump. All right. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you next time on Absolute BSS. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye, y'all.